Welcome to the Stronghold update. A new fortress map, 3 tank destroyers, new recoil animations for your guns, and yes, we are now Heroes and Generals World War II. Get in the new Kripost Russian encounter map. Inspired by the Brest Fortress, this new map is charged with history and ready to deliver urban combat at its best. Featuring a unique 3-objective layout, it provides fast-paced, close-quarter encounters.
Hello, I'm back with some Heroes and Generals, and today we're checking out the new update. Lately, Heroes and Generals have been getting quite a bit of love, and that's a good thing because this has to be one of my sort of old-time favorite games that I still go back and play, even though it's been, well, a lot of years. I mean, I remember this, I think it came out in 2012-13 when it was a browser game, and since then, it's obviously got released on Steam and it's been getting updates constantly, and that's a good thing because one of your old favorite games, even though things might have changed along the years, you can still come back and have a little fun. And today, it's kind of nice to come back and see that it's still going with a theme. They're still keeping a historic sort of accuracy and things like that, where they're basing stuff on the real-life events. They're making stuff as it sort of happened in the war. So in 1941, the Brest Fortress. There's got quite a lot of history behind it, and I'll link a little video in the description. If you haven't watched anything or you don't know anything about the Brest Fortress, it's going to be a movie, but it's in Russian, but don't mind that because it's going to be subtitled in English, so you can get to watch it and understand what's going on. Although, long story short, the Germans attacked pretty early, and that was pretty much it. But I'll go into a brief description of what happened on June the 22nd of 1941. But before that, just to give you a heads up what I'm using, if you're wondering about my equipment, I'm using the Light Machine MG 1919. As for my mods or whatever I have on it, I don't really have that much on it. I have the Match 72 ammunition just to give you a little bit more oomph. Internal, I have a heavy bolt, and as for my barrel, I have a chrome lined barrel, and that's pretty much it. I haven't used the light machine gun in probably years in Heroes and Generals, but I thought why not use it and abuse it for now. So just to jolt your memory a little bit about the Brest Fortress, at 04:15 Moscow time on June the 22nd of 1941, the German Wehrmacht attacked the Brest Fortress with no warning. The attack started with an artillery barrage including 600mm mortars of the 2nd Battery of the Heavy Artillery Battalion 833 Thor. The defenders were taken by surprise and failed to form a solid front. By 0900, the fortress was completely surrounded. The last defended objective in the fortress was taken by June the 29th. About 6,800 Soviet soldiers and commanders were captured. About 2,000 soldiers and officers were killed. The German army also lost nearly 430 killed soldiers and officers. According to the Soviet sources, the battle lasted until July the 20th, with no one surrendering to the Germans. This narrative became a testament to the resilience and courage of the Red Army and the Soviet people. A few Soviet soldiers did indeed hold out inside pockets of the fortress as late as July the 23rd. During a journey to different parts of Eastern Front, Hitler and Mussolini visited the fortress on August the 26th of 1941. So if that little brief description piqued your interest about what went down at the fortress, then it's going to be linked in the description. There's a movie there for you to watch. Like I said, it's going to be in Russian, so the English subtitles will definitely help for you to understand the sort of the feeling behind the attack on the Brest Fortress. Now, if I may go back to the game a little bit, I gotta say, even though it's been so many years, I'm still enjoying it. I still look forward to sort of seeing what kind of updates they're going to do, what they're going to bring into the game. Now, like I've said, they've brought in a couple of tanks. I've never really a big fan of tanks. I think the only tank that I do enjoy using is the Hellcat because it's a fast tank. You can sort of zip in and out of battle pretty quick. Sure, it doesn't have that much armor. You can be taken down pretty quickly with it, but still I think it's one of my favorite tanks that I prefer, a tank destroyer. But now with a couple of different kind of tanks, and I know they've mentioned something about bringing a tank-only battle. I don't know when that's going to happen, but hopefully it's going to happen at some point this year, and that's going to be pretty cool. Maybe they might actually go into Kursk and they'll do like the largest battle in history. If that's going to be the case, that would be pretty cool. But all in all, I'm looking forward to battles where this tank only is. There's not going to be any infantry around to come around and harass you. There's not going to be anybody trying to repair him at the same time you're shooting at him, you know. it's kind of strategy over strategy on most of these games, where you have somebody just repairing you while you're just shooting, and then you'll never end up dying really, because you have two people with spanners behind you just fixing you all the time. You're thinking, hold on a minute, I shot 8 shots into that guy, how is he still alive? But actually has a couple of people behind him and repairing him. While that's a valid strategy and that's kind of cool, a lot of sort of people that come into the game, they haven't played it for a long time, and they come in and think, well, this is not right. Why am I dying in one shot? It's all about sort of you taking the time and doing things right. It's a bit more slow paced. You got to take your shots. You got to pick your shots. It's not going to be sort of the Battlefield or the Call of Duty things. You know, it's not run and gun. While there is a little bit of that in here, you got to be a bit more tactical when it comes to heroes and generals. Moral of the story is, you're playing a World War II game where they're trying to be a little bit more realistic when it comes to weapons and when it comes to shots and shit like that. While in Battlefield you can take a hit to the head and only lose 30, 40, 50% of your health. In this one, you will die instantly. So that's why people are going to be a lot more tactical about this, a lot more, let's say, campy. Just making sure you're not just walking out into the open, and you should do fine as long as you stay and use cover effectively. You'll be fine. You need to, well, you can't actually peek in the game, but you need to make sure that you don't spam, because recoil is a thing. Just take your time, use the shots right, make sure that every shot you fire counts, and then you should do fine. Don't let yourself be discouraged by people that play the game twice and, hey, it's paid to win, I can't do this, I shot that guy and he's not dying. Well, the reason he might not dying is because he's got heavy set as a badge, which lowers the damage he takes, and you don't. So you're going to take more damage until you actually unlock that badge and you sort of maximize it. It's the same thing everywhere else. I've been playing this for all these years. I've never spent a penny on it. Never got to the point where I thought I definitely need to buy something, otherwise I'm not going to be effective in the game. It just doesn't come down to that. It comes down to you sort of putting the time in, playing it, unlocking things, having fun. If you're enjoying that sort of game and you're enjoying that type of fun, because it's not for everybody, since Heroes and Generals always tend to hover around sort of 5, 6, 7,000 sort of player mark. Used to be a lot more, but it's kind of steady around that part. It's still a game that you'll probably enjoy if you enjoy that sort of stuff, so yeah. As for what army should you join, well, that comes down to your personal preference, really. I mean, I do advise you join all of them. Buy a soldier for the US, buy a soldier for the Soviet Union, and buy one for the Germans, because at the end of the day, every single one of those countries will bring unique weapons, it'll bring unique strategies and things like that to the war. But to sort of break it down a little bit further for you, if you don't care about dying, and dying for Papa Stalin is the norm of the day, and you want to spam grenades and you want to just hoorah, if you're not dying, you're going to Gulag, then the Soviet army is going to be the one for you. If you're looking for a bit more tactical action, a bit more strategy, sort of comms, talking to your squad mates, talking to your teams, even though it's a random team, obviously you want to join the Germans because they have a lot more of that. If you're playing with friends, obviously things are going to be different because it doesn't really matter who you join. But if you're just a random sort of lone wolf and you want to join in with somebody that's got a little bit of strategy happening behind enemy lines, then the Germans are going to be for you. And if you're looking to pick up the game and you're not really sure what's going on and you're sort of getting a feel of it, and you want some decent weapons to help you a little bit, then the US is going to be for you, because they have a bit more, I would say, forgiving weapons. Now, I wouldn't say they're sort of the best or anything like that, because you can do well with any kind of weapon in the game, you just have to have it modded right. But I'd say it's a bit more easier to pick up when you start with the US. And I see a lot of players, when they join new or when they haven't played for a long time, they just go and start playing as the US. So that's kind of my breakdown of the three. I do play as the Germans, I do play as the Russians, I do play as the US, so I play as all of them really, but it just comes down to your own personal preference at the end of the day. So that's pretty much it for me for today. The update is live, go ahead and try it, go ahead and see what you think about it. It's pretty cool that they're still keeping updates rolling out, even though the game it's been out that long. I'm looking forward to see what's going to sort of happen in the future with the tank battles and some new sort of big maps for actual war, because that's what I enjoy a lot more. But that's pretty much it for me for today. So hopefully enjoy it. Let me know if you've played it already, if you enjoy it, if you don't, what you like, what you don't, and I will see you in the next one.